I just finished watching episode 2 of the Promised Neverland season 2, and I gotta tell you guys, it was really good. The pacing was so different than last week's episode. It was like the kind of filler to explain a little bit more of everything going on in the world. It was really well done. I really liked it. If for some reason you're watching this before you've watched episode 2 or the Promised Neverland at all and you're trying to avoid any sort of spoilers, this is for you. If you've already seen all that and you just want to know my thoughts on the episode as it relates to everything else without worrying of any spoilers, I'll put a time code down below where you can click on it and go right to that. Alright, so if you haven't watched it yet, just go watch The Promised Neverland. You should go do it. It was really good. It explains everything that's kind of going on in the world, gives kind of a backstory of how things got to how they are, and it kind of sets up how the kids are going to survive this next part of their journey. So overall, it's a good episode. Now, here are my thoughts specifically on the story and all the plot points and everything. I'm gonna just talk about all the stuff. I really liked that Sonja and Mujika, they didn't really say the other one's name very well, so I don't really know if that's exactly how they're pronouncing it. But I like how they explain that they are part of this whole demon thing, but that they don't eat humans because of religious reasons. Don't really go into them though. That said, they never really explain what they were eating, so I assume we're to think it's like a bird or a rabbit or something maybe. But I guess it doesn't really matter either. We know it's not human, and I guess that's supposed to be enough for us, which I guess it really was. This episode really kind of has a nice slow pace to it. I liked that. I mean, I liked last week's episode that was like all the action. What I really liked about the first season was that it really focused on the kids and their intelligence and them like learning how to survive and how to get out. And so I liked that this episode took time to kind of explain how they kind of learned the skills that they're gonna need coming up. Now, if you've read the manga, you know what's gonna happen because it's all done. I haven't read it, so I really don't know. I'm speculating that things are gonna get very difficult as they go out of the forest into the real world. It was good to see them get trained on how to like do things like how to shoot a bow and arrow, how to like what plants are edible, what herbs they can use, how to cook, how to start a fire. Things that, you know, is odd that they didn't know being in that school, but then you think like they were only in that school to be bred for food and they didn't need to know how to do all of that. So it was really cool to see like these two characters who story-wise really only existed to teach them the skills that they needed to survive, but I liked that they used two demons to do it instead of there being like these two humans who are exploring around trying to, you know, save people who have escaped from farms or whatever, but that it was actually just two demons who don't eat humans. And I really liked that. It had some really good moments. I really liked the quick summary of the backstory of how the two worlds got divided and kind of this, what I thought like kind of sets up the name of the show, The Promised Neverland, is them like trying to get to this other place that may or may not exist. And then the other thing that I really liked was when Emma goes out hunting, kind of this realization that she has that, you know, she was bred for food and, you know, they just want to survive, but to survive, she has to kill animals and eat their meat. I thought it was interesting to show that like she had this moment where she realized we're trying to survive so we don't get eaten, but in order to do that, like we have to eat other animals. And it's an interesting thing that like even us as humans in reality deal with. Like, you know, we have a pet dog and like I would never eat our pet dog, but then like we'll eat cows, right? I don't know, it's just interesting the you know, the way that, you know, we've even decided like which animals we eat and don't eat. And anyway, overall, I thought it was a really good episode. I really liked kind of the slower pace to kind of like explain how they're gonna prepare for what's coming next. And I don't really have an issue with how quickly they picked up a lot of the skills as far as retaining the knowledge of how to do them. They are supposed to be from what's the best farm in the area, so they should be pretty intelligent, since we've been led to believe that the more intelligent they are, the better their brain is as far as for eating. You know, being able to pick up a bow and arrow and be that quick is a little unrealistic, but it is anime. It's all fake anyway, so hey, we'll let it slide. Anyways, that's my thoughts on The Promised Neverland Season 2, Episode 2. We'll be back next week for another review. Peace.